Thank you for listening to this Podcast One production. Now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers. A dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends. A place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view. But when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. You're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Darkness Radio. I'm Dave Schrader. That's Tim Dennis. Hello, Tim.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I know it's been a crazy week. Lots going on behind the scenes for both of us. Exciting news. It looks like I'm going back out on the road June 1st to begin filming again for season 2, Tim.
There you go.
So I'm just going to ask all of our listeners around the world to keep me in your thoughts and prayers.
Yikes.
As I enter the world to go back to filming a TV program, hoping that during all of this mess, I don't contract anything. I will be gone and filming for the next 90 days. How exciting. Good to be back to work. A little scary that we're still not certain what's going on in the world around us. But the company I'm working for has put in a really strong protocol for protecting us, and hoping I'll survive it. But at least if I go, Tim, I'll go in the name of art.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
I couldn't have said it better myself.
It's one thing to do a radio show / podcast and do it from the safety of your own studio. It's another to go on out there in the field and risk it all.
You know what? Hey, life is filled with fun and risks and strangeness. So let's just grasp it and see what happens.
True.
Hopefully we'll get to knock out all 8 remaining episodes left on our contract, and get you guys a full season, 13 episodes of the Holzer Files this upcoming fall. So that's good news. Pretty cool. So I wanted to start off with that. Other big changes. Again, we have some news. July 1st, there will be some cool stuff going on for you, our faithful listeners. We want to thank you for your patience. And you'll know more about that around the end of June, beginning of July. I think that's about it. We've got a lot of news to cover, and we've got some calls. As a matter of fact, remember, folks, 651-300-4977. That's the phone number to call if you have a story to share with us about the strange and the supernatural. If you've had any kind of weird encounter, funny, heartwarming, scary, we want to hear your story. 651-300-4977. Were you stalked by a Bigfoot? Fondled by a Yeti? Licked by a Chupacabra?
Name of my new album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you came into contact with the ghost of Donny Osmond? Which would be weird because he's still alive, but I'm just saying, that would definitely be supernatural, Tim.
It would be, yeah.
One other, so give us a call at that number if you had, 651-300-4977, and share your story with us. I do want to reach out to you because one of the production companies that I work with is seeking listeners that have had paranormal experiences that have evidence. If you've got really strong, weird evidence of paranormal activity, video, photographic, audio, email me, dave@darknessradio.com, with the evidence and your full contact information, your name, your phone number, and the best email to reach you at. I will forward them onto the production company. That's all I do. I forward, folks. So I don't know who they select, what they select, and then they will reach out to you to work out the details if they're interested in the evidence that you've provided. So, again, give us a little bit of the story of what the evidence is that we're looking at, how you captured it, where you captured it, and, really stick with the solid evidence, stuff that really is fascinating and interesting to look at, or maybe really has you frightened or scratching your head. So if you've got that, Dave@darknessradio.com. And I will forward it on to the production companies. All right. We've got a lot of stories to cover, Tim. Mm-hmm. So let's get to it. I've got a couple that I wanted to start off with, a couple of positive stories.
Sure.
That I thought would be kind of interesting. A very creative priest in Michigan has gone viral, Tim.
Okay.
After being photographed using a squirt gun filled with holy water to bless churchgoers.
I did see this, yeah.
Right? Father Tim complied with the state's social distancing orders. The photos were originally posted by the St. Ambrose Parish in April, but went viral recently. Adapting to the need for social distancing, St. Ambrose continued its tradition of blessing of Easter food baskets, but they did it drive-through style. They have Father Tim using a squirt gun full of holy water, the post from St. Ambrose Parish said, and it looks awesome, dude. This picture, first of all, just looks gangster.
It does.
I'm gonna copy this because he's got a mask up, he's got the gun out, and a car's driving by, and it almost looks like he's just gunning down the driver. But it's just a great concept, great image. Whoever took this photograph, it looks like it was from a drone or something. Somebody from a higher level is taking this picture. Maybe God, I don't know. But it's a great image. And then they'll pop open the back trunk and he'll step around the back and squirt the holy Easter baskets. The 70-year-old priest has been pleased with the viral memes he sparked, telling BuzzFeed News that he prides himself on having a pretty wacky mind and pretty accepting congregation. He added that it is a good news story and people were in the mood for something like that. The original idea was to do something for the kids of the parish, Pelk told BuzzFeed. They were about ready to have an Easter unlike any of their past, so I thought, what can we still do that would observe all of the protocols for social distancing? Father Pelk didn't take the squirt gun lightly. He even consulted with an emergency room doctor in Detroit to make sure that it would be safe for him to do that. He said, not only is this safe, this is fun. And he came with his kids, Pelk said. He provided me with all the personal protection stuff that I needed. The sun was out. We had a nice turnout. It was a way of continuing an ancient custom, and people seemed to enjoy it. As far as the memes, Father Pelk said that they have been a fun way to provide people with a little optimism during this pandemic. I'm not objecting to that. The whole idea of combating evil is a good one, Pelk said. When Jesus dies, he doesn't just lay around doing nothing. He goes to hell and kicks the doors in. He wrestles with evil. I want to see that movie, Tim.
I do too, yeah.
I think what's his name? The name just skipped out of my head. Scott Hardy. What is it? Who's the guy with the long hair?
Hardy?
No, the wrestler. Who's the guy with the long? Matt Hardy? Is he the one with the long Jesus hairdo?
You want Matt Hardy to play Jesus?
If he's going to be wrestling evil.
He'll be out there going, yes, doing that deal?
Yeah.
I guess.
According to this article, we all want to believe that the devil is not the most powerful force on the earth, and neither is COVID-19. COVID-19.
I got to think Father could step his game up and keep himself safe at the same time. How about Father brings Super Soaker full of holy water with him and hit somebody from 60 to 90 feet? I'm thinking, really get into the spirit of this whole deal.
I think he should do a group like a drive-by baptism.
Oh, yeah.
The parents of the baby, they just kind of open up the window, hold the baby up. Psst, psst, psst,
Father, Son, and holy shit, I really got him on that one.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Father, Son, and say hello to my Jesus friend, right?
Right, yeah.
Start pumping the kid full of holy water. Here's another really cool story. I love when I can see that our friends from the paranormal community have stepped it up.
Mm-hmm.
Even before the coronavirus pandemic shut down life as we know it, Sean Porter's normal life wasn't all that normal. By day, he runs Ghost Stop, a company in St. Cloud, Florida that manufactures ghost hunting gear. By night, He leads a team of paranormal investigators who go into rumored haunted places looking for evidence of supernatural activity. Well, Ghost Stop is a supplier and manufacturer of paranormal investigative equipment, building devices that aid in searching for supernatural phenomena like K2 EMF meters that measure electromagnetic fields, 360-degree ghost cams to capture everything happening in a room at once, and laser grids to detect anomalies in a space. When the stay-at-home order came through for Central Florida, though, Porter tells Sci-Fi Wire that I thought it best to close down our shop and keep my crew safe and be part of the solution. But soon he started hearing stories about equipment shortages from family and friends who work in healthcare. It really nagged at me, he says. What can we do with our resources to help? Being an investigator by nature, Porter started looking into ways he could use Ghost Stop's 3D printing equipment to make a difference. Turned out that the most help would come from providing personal protective equipment, PPE, which were in shortage to local responders. I researched what could be made and found some much-needed products that could be printed and are approved for medical use by the National Institutes of Health, he says. So he worked up some prototypes from publicly available specs, then called in his crew. Ghost Stop is now manufacturing PPE 7 days a week, and to date has donated over 500 face shields and mask straps to Central Florida hospitals, testing facilities, and first responders. While we're still working more limited hours than normal, we've got a schedule worked up so at least one person is running 3D printers and manufacturing PPE every day, Porter says. He's making sure there are only 1 or 2 crew members in the factory per day, and they're working in separate workspaces to stay safe and help flatten the curve while keeping them employed. Porter also recently sent a box of PPE to a fellow ghost hunter who works as a first responder in King William, Virginia, who distributed the gear throughout his department and to first responders across the county. It's not just me, he says, pointing out that his crew of 9 other paranormal investigators are not obligated to do this. They are impassioned to be part of this goal, and I truly appreciate them for it. Since the pandemic hit, 3D maker groups around the world have been pitching in to create the equipment frontline workers are lacking, including a cosplay donation group started by a Disney seamstress and an event planner. Everything Ghost Stop has made so far has come from its own supply of printing materials and through donations. Filament to create the gear is in the highest demand, as well as buttonhole elastic, which the crew is having a hard time finding. That holds the face shield in place. You can donate directly to the store or shop its Amazon wish list. Porter recently added another 3D printer that will increase the group's PPE production by another 20%. I just want to be part of the solution, he says. Sitting at home is great advice to flatten the curve. I did that for a few days, but if there's something I can do to aid even further, I feel obligated to do it. A quiet room of 3D printers creates nothing. When this room is humming with all the printers going, it means we're creating solutions. So congratulations. First of all, Tim and I would like to give you the clap.
Yeah, clap.
That is fantastic. And a good friend of ours, Jason Gowan, is doing the same thing from home.
Yep.
Jason Gowan, who is a paranormal investigator and researcher and has been a guest on our show, has been a part of a few different paranormal TV programs, has also been creating shielding and first responder gear. So, congratulations to all. And the ones that we don't know about, thank you for being unsung heroes who aren't getting the acknowledgement that you need. Here, Tim and I will give you the clap as well. All right. There, you can tell everybody you got the clap from your friends at Darkness Radio. All right, Tim, we've got an audio daily double for this next story.
Yeah, we do.
The headline reads, "Listen to the terrifying growl which spooked ghost hunters at the Gloucester prison." Gloucestershire's own Ghostbusters spent the night in the former HMP Gloucester,
right.
But even they weren't prepared for what they heard. It dates back centuries, and it's on the side of Gloucester's old castle, so it's no surprise that the old prison site has long been rumored to be haunted. But when Gloucestershire's own team of Ghostbusters spent the night in the former HMP Gloucester. Good God. They weren't prepared for what happened next. The February visit was the 8th investigation from the Gloucester. That is a weird word, man.
Gloucester?
Gloucester. That's what I said. Gloucester Paranormal Investigative Services Team. And this one picked up some very strange goings on. GPIS lead investigator Paul Cowmeadow, that's unfortunate, age 44 from Gloucester, said, unlike our normal, more controlled investigations, we did most of our filming on a phone during our Facebook live feed, so our viewers were able to see the investigation with us. The good thing is, all the evidence we captured was audio. We had cell doors slamming and a very creepy growl in the kitchen area, which was picked up really well on our live feed footage. We also had some REM, that's the REM pod activity in the laundry area, Tim.
Not the band?
No, Michael Stipe wasn't just standing in the corner
okay.
using his religion. Yeah. That's me in the corner. That's me in the laundry area, losing my religion. That wasn't him, Tim.
No.
It's hard to fit all those words in that little bit of context.
It is.
The team had some technical difficulties during the investigation, but this is not too uncommon. GPIS lead investigator Ed Francis, 47 from Matson, said, during the investigation, we captured various forms of activity, which ranged from our equipment being activated and batteries being drained. But during our live feed broadcast, we had someone or something growl at us, and some of the viewers watching our live feed also heard it, which made us both spin around as we both heard it with our own ears. In the past, the duo claim at the prison that they have had a paranormal being swear at them, and they have left the building feeling quite unwell. Ed said, we keep going back to HMP Gloucester because we love this place, but also to be able to conduct a more detailed ongoing investigation. The prison is a big place that's steeped in history going back to Roman times and can certainly be very active on a paranormal level too. There are so many stories attached to certain areas of the prison and such a mixed bag of spirits that it's taken us several investigations to get some of the spirits to bond with us and communicate with us so we can find out who they are and what their stories are. The investigations will continue in the future due to the amount of activity that they claim occurs. He added, us trying to document so many spirit stories and capturing evidence of as much paranormal activity as we can, this cannot be accomplished over a couple of investigations. We feel so privileged and would like to thank everyone connected with the HMP Gloucester prison for allowing us access for this opportunity. Also, the team were wearing night vision body cameras and conducted several burst EVP sessions on digital recorders. Paul said throughout the investigation, we heard several cell doors slamming with force, heard other unexplained noises, seen the occasional shadow move, and always had a feeling of being watched and followed. We experienced random temperature drops, feelings of static energy around us, had our batteries drained on equipment, and also experienced feelings of sadness and tension. The best bit for me, though, would have to be the growl in the kitchen. It was right next to us. It was a very intense and active investigation, an investigation that the team will not soon forget. Ed said, we experienced sudden drafts as though someone had just walked past us, and the sense that you were always, Tim, being watched. It was an investigation I certainly won't forget. Over the years, the pair have recorded hundreds of hours of footage in which they scrutinize and look to debunk. Paul said, when at home working through sometimes hundreds of hours of video and audio footage, sometimes we do not actually find a thing. It can be very exciting when we capture some really good evidence, especially when we can relate it to things we experienced while on the investigation. You can't beat the feeling of experiencing paranormal activity in real time, actually on location. You don't just see and hear things. Your whole body and all your senses kick in, combined with the environment you're in, and sometimes can make the experience very intense and to us very, very exciting. The pair are incredibly dedicated to their work. So let's now play the audio. This is not a joke, folks. This is the actual audio from that investigation.
Okay, this is the area. It's where the kitchens are. Okay, we've gone a little off track. We were going to do the laundry area, but we seem to have found ourselves
being drawn into here because of the sound that we heard.
Let's just do it. Yeah? He wants to do the tap and copy again. Yeah, we'll do that for you, Phil. We'll do a tapping sound here in the kitchen, see if we can get one back. We've got a light on. Oh. Oh my gosh, this place is... What the hell was that?
What?
No.
That wasn't nice. That was a growl.
That was a growl, people. We have just heard a growl.
That was a...
Did anybody else hear that? Because that was just mad.
That was a growl, mate.
Play that part again. I want to hear the banging and then the growl again.
Trying to think of where that was. I think that's here.
Yeah, we'll do that for you, Phil. We'll do a tapping sound here in the kitchen, see if we can get one back. We've got a light on. Oh. Oh my gosh, this place is... What the hell was that?
What?
No.
That wasn't nice. That was a growl.
That was a growl, people. We have just heard a growl.
That was a...
Did anybody else hear that? Because that was just mad.
That was...
I love that. I love their reactions. What the hell was that?
That was just mad.
That was awesome. What a creepy moment. Awesome, though. Very cool. Speaking of creepy, cool moments, I know you've had some out there, folks, and we want to hear them. How do you let us know about your stories? Well, you call in and you leave us a message. Your message can be up to 3 minutes long. But, Dave, my story's much longer. Well, then call right back and continue your story. Tim will knit these stories together into one cohesive piece of artistic repertoire, and we'll play it here on the show, just like this caller.
Hi, Dave and Tim, two of my favorite men. I just have a story. Well, actually, I have a couple, but this is the one that I want to talk about. Several years ago, my mother was passing away, and I got the call that said, come now. And my daughter and I got in the car, and we went over to my mother's home, and she was in a coma, and we waited, and it was several hours. Now, there are three things in my mother's life that she loved. She loved the Western Channel on TV. She loved the Game Show Network on TV, and she loved the History Channel on TV because she loved American Pickers, and she had a crush on Frank. Anyway, for some reason, my sister and I and my eldest daughter were sitting in the room with my mom, and we turned the TV on because they were having a American Pickers marathon or something. Anyway, we just had it on in the background because Mom always had the TV on. So several hours went by, and my daughter decided that she was going to change the channel. And she did. And my mother made a noise, and we didn't think anything of it. My daughter put the remote back on the table, and the next thing we knew, American Pickers was back on. The channel changed by itself. Nobody was near the remote, just dead. So we left it on. And then, it was several hours. This was a long process for her when she passed away. And in the middle of the night, my sister and I are sitting there, and we were dozing off. And next thing we knew, there's John Wayne on the Western Channel. Again, no one was near it. My daughter decided that she had to get home to her kids, and so before she left, she told my mom, or she asked her, Mom, is Grandpa with you? And the next thing you know, I swear, Dave, the TV changed to the sports network, which was the only thing my father watched. My daughter hightailed it out of there because this is the third time the channel changed. In the end, my mom passed away, the hospice worker was doing what she needed to do to get the body ready for the undertaker. And she was in the room, and the TV was still on, and she said, oh, you know, because she had been with Mom, she said, oh, Barbie, I'm so sad that you're gone, and, you know, we'll miss you. And the next thing you know, the Game Show Network came on. So I said, I've had enough of that, and I got up and turned the TV off, and we went into the living room waiting for the undertaker to come. And there was no one in the room, and the TV came back on by itself. So that's my story. Thanks for all the laughs. Love listening to you. Keep me awake a lot of nights, but oh well. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.
Another awesome call, another amazing story, and we love hearing from you folks. 651-300-4977. Don't cut us off during this pandemic. Give us the love. Pick up the phone. Give us a call. Email me your stories, dave@darknessradio.com. It's just that simple. Just that simple. And tell them, Tim, how much does it cost to call us and leave us that message and have us play it on our upcoming shows?
$34.95.
No, Tim, it does not. Try again.
$18.95.
No, Tim, no. That, although a great price, and getting your voice on radio and being heard by tens of millions of people around the world. Okay, maybe tens of hundreds of thousands of people. All right, 100,000 people or so. Tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
$9.99. Oh, an even better price, but no, Tim.
$4.99 a minute?
Nope, not going to do that either, Tim. How about this? We're going to let you do it for free, folks. You share your story. We plug it into our show, making you a global phenom for at least the 3 to 6 minutes that your story goes on.
That's pretty cheap.
I think so. You can't beat that price.
Can't beat it with a bat.
Although here's a price that was paid recently, Tim. One that changed a thrash metal drummer's life. Thrash metal drummer awakes from coronavirus coma. And you know what, Tim? Doesn't think Satan's that cool anymore.
I heard that, yeah.
Didn't know that people thought Satan was cool to begin with. As the coronavirus pandemic continues, researchers are discovering new symptoms and side effects of the disease. Some people who have recovered from COVID-19 are still reporting lingering chest pain and shortness of breath. In some cases, people are reporting a rash disgustingly referred to as COVID toes. And in at least one case, the novel coronavirus has caused visions of a Dante-like trip to hell, Tim.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, North Dakota.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
According to the San Francisco Chronicle's date book, the thrash metal band Death Angel was in Europe for a tour in early March when the outbreak went global. They canceled the tour and headed back to the United States, but on the flight back, drummer Will Carroll started showing symptoms. After testing positive, he spent 12 days in a medically induced coma. When he finally woke up on March 30th, the staff at California Pacific Medical Center applauded. The medical staff couldn't believe it, he told the Chronicle. They were ecstatic because it was a success story. Carroll had more reason to celebrate, not just because he was returning to good health, but because those 12 days were filled with some pretty upsetting visions. According to the Chronicle article in his quote, while in the coma, Carroll said he had dreams of visiting the afterlife. He saw himself leave his body and plummet down to hell, where Satan, a woman in his case, punished him for the deadly sin of sloth, morphing him into a Jabba the Hutt-like monster who vomited blood until he had a heart attack. I woke up on the hospital bed with tubes coming in and out of me, and there was a nurse right there, and my first words were, "Am I still in hell?" Carroll said she just ignored me. It takes a very professional nurse to take a patient rambling about hell in stride. In Carroll's case, though, the experience has him reevaluating some things. I'm still going to listen to satanic metal, and I still love Decide and bands like that, he told the Chronicle. As far as for my personal life and my experience of what I went through, I just don't think Satan's quite as cool as I used to. Yeah.
I wonder.
A female entity, Satan,
right?
Who turns you into a Jabba the Hutt until you vomit blood, until you die of a heart attack in hell.
Well, here's the thing. Now, with COVID, it's been reported that that there are heart issues going on with it as well. So he was having a heart attack in the afterlife experience, or what some people may argue might have been a fever dream or whatever it was he had. I wonder if he's going to have issues with clots or heart issues afterwards as part of this COVID experience.
Aren't you a little ray of sunshine?
I'm just saying. Maybe it's a foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Big words too, Tim.
Yeah.
Hey, we can't avoid it. We keep trying, folks, but the COVID stories keep coming. We couldn't have passed that story up. It covered COVID. Here's another one. People stuck in haunted homes during quarantine report a rise in spooky happenings. Coronavirus is spooky enough, Tim, but try living through the lockdown in a house that's haunted. The unlucky residents of homes believed to have ghosts and ghouls rattling around say they have no way to keep themselves socially distant from the spirit world, Tim. That's a good problem to consider.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how do you stay 6 feet away, please. You have those little like spots on the floor like they do at the grocery store. Keep the ghost 6 feet away at all times.
Well, that's why you get the squirt gun full of holy water.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Some people have been subjected to an extra dose of paranormal activity during the coronavirus quarantine. Believers say they're experiencing everything from books flying off of shelves to creepy, cold brushes of air and pets behaving strangely. The more I'm stuck in this house, the more there's a feeling, said Kurt Schleichlecker, 56, of Tampa, Florida, who has been forced to stay home during coronavirus in the notorious house where killer Victor Licata slaughtered his parents, 3 siblings, and the family pooch back in 1933. You notice all of these weird supernatural things when you normally wouldn't, and there's so much time to think about how scary they are. Schleichlecker told the Post he's been trying to share the home peacefully with its spectral occupants amid the lockdown. I guess you could say I'm getting to know my roommates, he said. They left this earth in a stressful way. They were murdered while they slept, and their time cut short. So I understand where they're coming from. Schleichlecker, who bought the abode because he was a non-believer, now says he may have been dead wrong in his theory that ghosts do not exist. My dog, a boxer, has been sitting in the bedroom where the mother was murdered and barking at the wall for no reason. It's not in his nature, he said. In the bathroom, you can feel a coldness come over you, a cold brush of something walking by. Just wondering if you have a square to spare, I guess.
I really feel bad for the dog, too. I mean, the dog's out of work as well.
Yeah. In Los Angeles, Adrian Gomez has been dealing with ghosts during the city's lockdown. He recently heard a doorknob in his home rattling vigorously and saw a window shaking so hard he thought it was an earthquake, making him think the house was haunted while stuck in quarantine, according to the New York Times. I'm a fairly rational person. I don't know why I said it in that Andy Rooney-like voice, Tim. Did you ever notice?
More curly to me, but... Yeah,
oh, was it?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a fairly rational person. Well, Mr. Gomez, 26, told the paper, I try to think, what are the reasonable, tangible things that could be causing this? But when I don't have those answers, I start to think, maybe, just maybe, something else is going on. Others have reported hearing disembodied voices, seeing shadowy figures, and seemingly possessed electronics, the outlet reported. In Indonesia, an official has begun punishing quarantine violators by locking them in abandoned homes that are believed to be haunted, according to the AFP. Yeah, you know me, Tim. If there's an empty and haunted house in the village, put people in there and lock them up, said Kusinindar Onantong Yini Sakatawati, head of the Srang Regency.
Bet you can't say that twice.
Kazindar Ongtong Uni Sakadawati, head of the Sarang Regency.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Fluent. It's like I speak that language. In the middle of the night, books recently flew off his shelf, which a visiting ghost hunter blamed on 2 children ghosts living in his closet, he said. It's particularly challenging during quarantine because I can't have anyone else here with me for comfort, he said. When you're alone, it's even more frightening, he said. This is ridiculous. But I sleep with a golf club. and the living room light on. So what, do you want to get in a quick round with the ghosts?
Never know when you need to play through, Dave.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, you never know.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I will say this about that. I bought this house back in October, and we came from a pretty haunted house that I was renting for a while, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We haven't had any experiences here until just recently. So, my kids have been going a little batty, so they'll go out and they'll go biking around the block, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of keeps their energy levels up, gets them out of the house, getting some of this Minnesota fresh air in between rainstorms.
Right.
And my daughter, Ripley, is on the stairs. My son, Max, just a little bit more above him. And we're getting ready for dinner or something. And I ask a question, and I hear my daughter, Pacey, from even higher up on the stairs respond. And then I make a comment, and I'm like, well, tell Pacey, damn it, where'd your sister go? And they're like, well, she's not here, Dad. She's out riding the bike. And I said, well, didn't you guys just hear her respond when I asked that question? And my daughter, Ripley, gives me the big wide eyes and kind of shakes her head like, shh, Dad, because Max, who's younger, was standing on the stairs too.
Ooh.
And Max goes, what? And I'm like, oh, nothing, buddy. And so we all got ready for dinner, and I called outside, and sure enough, my daughter was outside riding the bike. But Tim, hand to God, I heard what I thought was my daughter's voice respond upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying, Tim, but I am saying that I've been inside a lot in a long, long period of time.
Right.
I could be going insane.
Mm-hmm.
I have been working on my book, which should be published later this year. And after reviewing 82 pages that all say all work and no play makes Dave a dull boy, I am starting to question my own sanity.
Going to be an interesting book.
Yeah. I just, I figure people can interpret it however they're most comfortable, Tim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Since we just talked about haunted quarantines, Tim, how about a cursed town so evil that locals won't even say its name, Tim?
Its name is Tim?
No, I'm saying that Tim, they won't even mention the town's name and its terrifying way that it manifests in visitors to the town. Colabraro in southern Italy looks like the perfect holiday destination, but it hides a chilling secret, Tim. So horrifying, locals will only refer to the town as the village with no name. Nestled in the southern hills of Italy, Colabraro looks like the picture-perfect, quaint village. I don't know why I feel this is definitely a kind of a Bill Courtesy story to me, Tim.
Kind of is.
But this stunning town hides a disturbing secret. So terrifying, locals will never utter the name of the place they live. Colabraro is said to be cursed, with horrifying examples of ill fortune and bad luck befalling those within its walls. The legend of the curse dates back to the 1940s, when then the mayor of Colabraro, Biagio Virgilio, is said to have proclaimed at a town council meeting, "May this chandelier fall down if I'm not telling the truth."
Oh, that's a bad one. Don't do that.
Worst curse I've ever heard in my life, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah.
May all of you wake up with cooties in your cooches. Now that to me is a curse, Tim.
Oh, that's even worse.
Not, may this chandelier fall down if I'm not telling it the truth, Tim.
Well, you never know who's underneath it, though.
Oh, there's that, I guess.
Yeah.
Seconds later, the huge chandelier above his head crashed to the ground. And since then, locals have believed he put a chilling hex on their hometown. Ever since, villagers have believed in the curse, and since that fateful day, a number of unexplained tragedies have befallen those affected. So fiercely do locals fear the curse, they refuse to ever describe the town by its name, and instead refer to it only as the village with no name. And the village's infamy is spread far and wide. One local admits that when he was in a restaurant in a nearby city, people moved away from him when they realized he was from Colabraro. The village name itself is said to have a horrifying origin. It comes from the word colubra, which means snakes, and some locals say it is a place where evil presences live. Not only that, but Calabraro has long been rumored to be the ancient home of massacre, or powerful women who work their magic using spells, the evil eye, and curses. They were often treated as healers, with their neighbors going to them when they had certain symptoms like a headache and asking them to lift the curse. Some of them could work the cures, which further spread the rumors about their dark magic and powers. They used a mix of salt, coal, and water, and would rub it on the affected person's forehead before throwing the contaminated water on a crossroads. The next person said to walk across the roads was then believed to be infected by the curse. While the massacre are said to no longer exist or live in the village, many fear their powers are still present there. Apparently a very loud Minnesota goose is weighing in on this story.
I was going to say.
I want you to understand just how loud the goose is. My windows are shut.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like he is angrily standing outside, shaking his furry fist in righteous indignation. Maybe by repeating the town that nobody else will mention, and I've said it now 42 times, the town of Calabraro, Tim, I've brought about evil geese to my doorstep.
Calabraro.
It's only a few brave souls.
It's a parrot goose.
We'll talk about these women within Calabraro, and even less when there is no sunlight shining down on the village. There are also stories of strange things happening to those in the village, which seem to be impossible to be explained by medicine or magic. There are unconfirmed reports of babies being born with 2 hearts or 3 lungs. Freakish landslides and bizarre car accidents are said to plague Calabraro. Everyone. Only visitors to the village are believed to be prone to suffering the terrible consequences of Calabraro's bad luck. Local Elena Di Napoli said, "Of course, considering my ancestry, I'm immune to the jinx. These spooky things only happen to people who come here for the first time in their lives and who believe in the omen." Others dismiss the curses as nothing but hocus and or pocus nonsense and insist the chandelier fell at Biagio Virgilio's words because it was badly fitted. Or was it? Local Matteo told the BBC, "Don Biagio Virgilio. Of course, I do remember him. The misfortune. Folks made it up. He didn't bring a bad luck. When something happens to some outsider with their cars, maybe they get stranded or a flat tire or the engine, she breaks it down, they wanted to blame it on the village." However, that doesn't stop the residents of Calabraro capitalizing on the rumors of the curse. Every year they hold a street show to celebrate the hometown's spooky history, and in August visitors flock to Calabraro to see the show featuring witches, massacre, and werewolves. Although, just to be on the safe side, everyone who doesn't call Calabraro home is given a special amulet to protect them from the curse. Here you go. It's a nice Tony Bennett amulet we had him made when he did a big show here in 1978.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about them apples?
When you do that audio clip there, it kind of sounds like the Undertaker from the first Godfather movie.
Does it?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
See, I am capable of more than just Rolf the dog, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is a Rolf the dog. All right, we've got another phone call to take, 651-300-4977. That's the number to call if you'd like to share one of your strange personality disorders. One of your strange paranormal encounters, or perhaps one of your own strange personality disorders, whichever you feel more apt to share with us. We want to hear from you, 651-300-4977, just like this caller.
Hey, Dave and Tim and Dave. Quarantine, so I thought I'd tell you this story. I was out in Chester County, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you know much about that, but there's old houses there. Houses that date back pre-Revolutionary War. So I was visiting some friends who were house sitting. This was around Christmas, and they were house sitting for an older couple. And normal evening, nice house. And we were prepared to go to bed. And I didn't realize, but I was in an annex of the house that had been built, a more modern annex to an older house. And I didn't really think about it, but when we went to bed, so they said, come this way, and they opened the door, and so now we left the modern part of the house to go into a very, very old house, I mean, easily around the time of the Revolution. And as I put my foot over the sill, I stopped dead, and I said, this house is haunted. And I just knew it. I just knew it. And I had never done anything like that before. I guess I'd never been in a haunted house before. My mother always insisted the house we grew up in was haunted, and I always said, this house is not haunted. And I just could not move. I just said, this house is haunted. And I just blurted it out. And my friend, who was house sitting, said, oh, yeah, it is haunted. This is the old part of the house. It's really old, and it is haunted, and I didn't want to tell you because I thought you wouldn't come and spend the night. And I'm like, no, I'm not scared. I'm just saying. And I wasn't frightened at all, not even a little bit. And nothing happened. But it was just the first time I realized that I was sensitive to that kind of energy. I didn't realize it till that moment. And it was just a very weird experience. And crossing on that threshold from one room to another in that house, from the modern annex into the old house, was a complete change of energy, and I could feel it. And it just thrilled me to the bone. It really did. And to this day, I possess that ability to tell if a house is haunted or not from the second I step in it. And that's all I had to say.
Okay, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of the best in the darkness radio.
Oh boy. How was your pain this week? I'll tell you, mine was off the charts. If I could tell you what I'm doing just to talk to you this week, you wouldn't believe it. My speech is a little messed up this week. I had an interesting encounter with the dentist, so I'll try to get through this as fast as I can. Hey, it's your buddy Tim for Feels. Thank God Feels is with me this week. It has been an abomination of pain this week. Not only my regular pain, but throw some dental pain in there as well this week. I'm dealing with some incredible stress, incredible anxiety. I don't know if you have anxiety dealing with the dentist. I do. Let's talk about that for a second. Sitting in a dental chair, hearing that drill, and then hearing that they're going to pull some teeth. Man, let me tell you. I shook, and I shook, and I shook. And they just told me they were going to do it. They didn't give me any warning. And I was shaking when I got home. I mean, and it's the one thing, I don't have much fear of anything in my life. I had fear when it came to this. And I was shaking when I got home. So what did I do? I came home and I had my vial of Feels. Because I needed something to help me with that anxiety, that overwhelming anxiety. Thank you, Feels. Because I came home, I had a dropper full of Feels. And you can tell there's a shakiness in my voice just thinking about it. And it just mellowed me right out. I appreciate it. Thank you, Feels, for that. I appreciate it. I've had to use Feels a little bit more this week because it has been a painful week. I've had a lot of extensive dental work done. It's hard for me to talk to you right now because the extensive dental work I've had done. Dave had to take over the yeoman share of the work this week, so I thank Dave for that. And I've had trouble sleeping this week, too, so I thank Feels for helping me with that as well. You're not alone when it comes to this. Chronic pain and anxiety and trouble sleeping. Feels is there for you. Feels is premium CBD delivered directly to your doorstep. What does Feels do? Well, Feels helps you naturally reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. And it's there for you whenever you need it. It's real easy to take. You just place a few drops of Feels under your tongue and feel the difference within minutes. The thing to remember about CBD is that finding your right dose is important, and everyone's dose is different. So leave room to experiment over the course of a week or so, and you may need to take more or less to get the effects that you're after. If you're new to CBD, it's okay. Feels will offer a free CBD hotline to help you guide you through your personal experience. You can feel better naturally. Feels works naturally to help you feel better. There's no high, hangover, or addiction. And you can join the Feels community to get Feels delivered to your door every month. You'll save money on every order, and you can pause or cancel at any time. Why you'd want to cancel, I don't know, because I'll tell you, Feels has been in my corner now for quite a few weeks. I'm getting relief from this pain every single week. I wouldn't want to go back. I don't know why you'd want to go back once you try it and experience the relief that you're getting from Feels. And I apologize for my speech. I feel really bad, but it's a temporary thing. Feels has me feeling my best every day, and it can help you too. And I thank God Feels was in my corner this week. I really do. You can become a member today by going to feels.com/darkness. You'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's feels.com/darkness to become a member and get 50% off automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. It's Feels, FEALS.com/darkness. Become a member, get 50% off automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. Do it today. Feels.com/darkness.
All right, we're back, Tim. We've had some weird stories to share already on today's. We've got some more strange news stories to continue with, and another phone call I think we're going to take here in the next segment. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
This is the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Darkness Radio. I'm Dave Schrader. That's Tim Dennis. And again, I will tell you, my faithful listeners, that production company I'm working with is looking for really weird, unusual, paranormal evidence. Many of you have sent me videos, photographs, audio. If you have some that you would like to share and have examined on an upcoming TV program, you can email me, dave@darknessradio.com. Include your name, your phone number, a brief story, and the evidence that you have to share. I will pass it on to the production company. They will be in touch with you if it is something they would like to use. So just email me, dave@darknessradio.com. That's dave@darknessradio.com. Our next story, Tim, is an actor-related story. Christopher Maloney.
Oh, yeah.
You know him, Christopher Maloney, Tim.
Yeah, Law and Order.
Yeah, Law and Order. I think he was also Casey Jones in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies.
Mm-hmm.
Was he?
I'm sure. I'm just going along with you.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, Christopher Maloney. I'm not sure. Let me check here. Hey, Echo. Was Christopher Maloney in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies?
Here's something I found on the web. According to .com, popular in movies, comics, TV, and video games, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are.
That was very Yoda. Did you hear that?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very popular in comics and cartoons and video games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are.
Heroes in a Half Shell. Yeah.
Turtle power. Yeah, I don't. Now I've got to look. I'm one of those guys that's going to drive myself crazy.
Yeah.
I don't check if Christopher. I can't think of. It's probably not him. It's probably that other guy. I'm pretty sure it's not Christopher Maloney. come to think of it now,
Sarah,
but I can't think of that other guy's name.
Was Christopher Maloney in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Hair matches for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, they're
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
They're very covert about the whole thing.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Out of the Shadows. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Wow, she noticed that. Now she's going into like...
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
well, shut her down. Yeah. Shut her down.
She's just chatty today.
She's crazy. What is up with that?
I don't know. She's pulling up everything for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. She just wants to talk today. I've been ignoring her.
So, is that it? I think being home, you'd have talked to her more, spent more time chit-chatting with her.
No, I'm a little paranoid of her right now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
To me.
Her in the room.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm flipping through the old IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
He was a voice in the Dinosaurs TV episodes. He played Spike for 11 episodes.
Oh.
But I'm not seeing any connection here to the Turtles. Yeah. I can't. I can think of what the other guy. You know what? The other guy looks exactly nothing like Christopher Maloney.
That's it.
Probably would have been easier if I just looked up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and looked up who played Casey Jones than to look up Christopher Maloney and then scour his back catalog. But, yeah. Anyway, I digress. Christopher Maloney is selling his home, but it may not be for everyone, Tim. The Law & Order SVU star is asking just under $6.5 million for the Hollywood Hills home. This Hollywood Hills home, though, has a legendary status, Tim. It was previously owned by Ozzie and Harriet Nelson and used on their show Ozzie and Harriet, according to Variety. On paper, sounds like a dream come true, spanning nearly 5,300 square feet, a guest house, a pool, and right next to Runyon Canyon. And it could be yours if you don't mind a ghost or two, Tim.
Oh.
See, in 1975, Ozzie Nelson died in the master bedroom. And since then, the home has changed hands many times, with most owners complaining of paranormal activity, including slamming and opening of doors or bed sheets flying around at night. If I recall, this is not the first time we've encountered Ozzie Nelson's ghost, Tim, on Darkness Radio. I believe we've read stories about his home being haunted, and he would snuggle up to women in their beds.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost Ozzie.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not talking Ozzy Osbourne.
No.
This is Ozzie Nelson, the band leader.
Right.
Father of Rick and David Nelson. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Real estate agent Billy Rose told the Los Angeles Times that he sold the home 3 times and each owner would complain of the home being haunted. Ozzy also owned a model train set that has stayed with the house, and it reportedly would just start running in the middle of the night. A child saw children playing in the yard and asked to join them, Rose recounted, but there was no one at the home. I would always make a disclosure that there was a legend that the house was haunted. The owner first hired paranormal investigators to make sure their purchase would be agreeable to the resident ghosts. Apparently, the ghosts agreed with the purchase, Tim. Huh. Ozzy.
It's all fun and games till you realize that the ghost is real.
Yeah.
That's what I'm finding out.
Here's a weird story. This footage I've seen is pretty cool. I'm gonna include the link for the story on today's program, Tim, so people can go see this, because it's a freaky moment when a chair seems to just implode on itself in an abandoned World War house in Rotherham. You ready for this story?
I'm ready.
A group of paranormal investigators from South Yorkshire have captured the moment a chair appeared to explode as they explored an abandoned house in Rotherham. Cole James and his partner, Cindy and Gareth, visited the World War house behind Rotherham Hospital on the February 22nd this year to live stream themselves investigating the house. Cole said the house was made into 2 separate flats, one above and one below. There was a false wall that had a hole in it, giving us access to both upstairs and downstairs. We didn't get much activity, if any at all, upstairs until we thought we would try a room downstairs, which drew us all towards it to do most of the investigation. Cole said he and his team decided to put a pink teddy bear on an old chair that they found in the room, which was around the time that they captured the footage. As we're all calling out to the spirits, to our complete shock, the chair simply explodes with the bear on it. The bear lit up, but stayed in place while the chair back blew off along with a big bang, Cole said. He said the team tried everything to recreate it, but no one could make it happen again. Cole said, we couldn't recreate it at all. This left us very spooked, and we both caught it from different angles of the room, showing where we were at the time of the incident. We weren't sure if we had caught it on camera until the Facebook Live ended, and we both looked back on our footage, and to our absolute amazement, we caught it, and everyone is accounted for. Cole said that the footage went wild, and their Facebook viewers couldn't believe what they'd seen. Now, they've asked Cole and the team to return to that house. He said, when we leave the location, we sit and review the footage for about an hour. Shaken up, and we can't debunk what it could actually be. We will return to the location and see if we can capture the same evidence again. We haven't returned yet, but we are hoping to in the future. It is really scary considering the World War house is near enough on its own in the middle of the woods, Tim. The house in the middle of the woods. It's weird because you see this chair, you see the teddy bear on it, this kind of flash, all of a sudden the whole back just kind of caves in and this wisp of smoke or a ghost flies over it. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at, but it's pretty weird. So I will include that link on today's program. That's just the way I am, Tim. I'm a giver.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt that at all.
Do you, Tim? Do you doubt it?
I don't doubt it at all. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Tim, during this lockdown crisis, I know you're getting bored at home. I found a little place to send you for just a little vacation, Tim.
Oh, yeah?
It's a historic house in Lafayette, Louisiana, and it's being given away. But even though it's free, there is a catch, Tim. But I figured, what's a catch to my buddy Tim Dennis?
Yeah.
Not only do owners have to move it, but it also comes with a very haunted history, Tim. You see, when realtor Sylvia McLean posted about the free house on her Facebook page, former residents and locals took to the comments to share supernatural horror stories. Free house to be moved, McLean posted on March 2nd. You may recognize this iconic home that is located on Verrat School Road. It's the old Vincent Vallo Grandview Nursery home, built in the late 1920s, early 30s. McLean Development recently purchased this land and home. In an effort to save the history of the home, we are offering it to anyone who would be interested in moving it to another location for restoration. We have concentrated our efforts and development cost in saving as many of the trees as possible and simply do not have a place in the neighborhood for the home. The home was occupied until 6 months ago. 2 ACs were in working order. The home has been vacated due to the development and needs some TLC. We'd love to see someone take it, move it, and restore it. Within days, over 830 people had posted comments, including former residents and family members of the supposed ghost. A woman named Gypsy Dawn warned, I was the last tenant that lived there before it was abandoned. The property was heaven, but the house is quite unsettling. If you don't enjoy communing with the spirit world, because in this house, they speak loudly. Local Gary Allman wrote, yes, it's haunted. I experienced 3 things that happened there that could not be explained. And my friend that lived there had many more than that. We actually experienced one together, and we still talk about it. Another commenter, Eva McKee, observed, it needs to be washed in the blood of Christ, and the demons rebuked. But Don Villat de Clure, that's the relative of the former owner, Tim. Don Villat de Clure had a happier view of the home, writing, this is my family's house. My grandparents, Joe and Lula Villat, built it. And my dad, Earl Villat, was raised here. It is a finely built old house and still has wonderful woodwork inside. Our hope and prayers is that someone appreciates this great 1930 architecture and will move it and restore it. One added benefit is that it is inhabited by the spirit of my great-grandmother, Alida Vincent. A name so nice, they named it twice, Tim.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
She was raised on the land and lived and died in that house. Besides the haunting, the biggest issue with the house is that it would cost about $80,000 to move it to another property. That's nothing. $80,000 for a house with a ghost in it. I don't know why Zach Bagans doesn't just buy it, move it to Vegas, put it on the empty piece of property right next to his haunted museum.
Oh, yeah.
Just make that part of the new haunted museum.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
I like it.
See what I'm saying?
Except for it wouldn't be part of Louisiana culture anymore. It'd be now part of Vegas culture.
It would still be part of Louisiana history. You just have to go to Vegas to see it. Huh? Because what moves to Vegas stays in Vegas.
Oh, careful, buddy. Careful.
Don't worry, not COVID, just a dry cough from allergies, Tim.
Okay.
Tim, here's a question asked.
Yeah.
The Southside Times wants to know, are we seeing ghosts because we're lonely? Or because they've always been there, Tim? These are trying times. COVID-19 has altered lives and habits and continues to play havoc upon daily routines. That's what Rick Hinton writes in this article. Those considering themselves social people have suddenly found a situation of self-imposed lonesomeness as Indianapolis at what feels like a snail's pace. Are they saying self-imposed lonesomeness as Indianapolis? Are they saying Indianapolis is like a self-imposed lonely place? I'm not sure.
I kind of took it as Indianapolis is kind of like self-imposed torture, but that's just me. Yeah.
These are challenging times indeed. During these days, do you suddenly now have ghosts to add to the mix? Maybe they've been here all along. Freelance writer Molly Fitzpatrick has gathered some stories of peculiar surprises for some dealing with this pandemic and opinions of what really is happening behind the scenes. For those whose experience of self-isolation, Tim, involves what they believe may be a ghost, their days are punctuated not just by Zoom meetings or homeschooling, but by disembodied voices. Voices. Did you hear that, Tim?
No, what? It
was disembodied voices. Voices.
Oh, now I hear it, yeah.
Shadowy figures, misbehaving electronics, Tim, AI.
Yeah, they are problems, yeah.
Invisible cats cozying up on couches, caresses from hands that aren't there. Sign me up. Some cases, free-floating, full-torso vaporous apparitions. Some of these people are frightened, of course. Others say they just appreciate the company and the gentle caresses, Tim. Many have self-isolated alone. Some have the luxury of doing it with significant others or family. However, there can be tension when you spend large amounts of time with others. Amen to that. Alone or with others, these strange times, Tim, seem to bring the spooks out of the woodwork. According to a survey, 45% of adults believe in ghosts, while another found 18% have seen or have had encounters with one. Paranormal researcher and former host of the TV series Ghost Stalkers, our buddy John E.L. Tenney, said in 2019 he received an average of 2 to 5 haunted house reports every month. That has now increased to 5 to 10 a week. Fitzpatrick stated Mr. Tenney has seen something like this before. In 1999, immediately before Y2K, he witnessed a spike in reported ghost and poltergeist activity as well as UFO sightings, which also happened to be on the rise at this time, Tim. It does seem to have something to do with our heightened state of anxiety or our hypervigilance, Tenney observed. In her research, Fitzpatrick quoted Kurt Gray, associate professor at the University of North Carolina, times of great unease or malaise. Or is that malaise?
Malaise?
Malaise.
Yeah.
So times of great unease or malaise. I'd like great unease or malaise. That at least rhymes. It makes me feel more lyrical, like a Dr. Seuss moment, Tim.
No.
Times of great unease or malaise, when there is an increased drive to find meaning in chaos, can lend themselves to perceived hauntings. Not to mention that disease itself carries certain psychological parallels with a malevolent spirit creeping invisibly upon us. Fitzpatrick added, this phenomena could also be a side effect of the loneliness of our time. In quarantine, you are physically confined and also psychologically confined, Gray stated. Your world narrows. You're trapped at home. You need human contact. It's comforting to think that there's a supernatural agent here with you. Are these visitations only perceived, or are they the real deal? Well, Fitzpatrick reasoned that one can argue that the ghost puttering around in your kitchen is not only there, but that it's always been there. Maybe you're what's changed, she said. Sounds like a breakup with this woman. Yeah. No, Dave, maybe you're the one that changed. Maybe I am Fitzpatrick, but I don't think I am. I think it's you. Sorry, I'm still a little tender, Tim.
I see that, yeah.
Maybe you're listening more closely in the greater quiet all around us. John Tenney would agree. Perhaps we're just now starting to notice that the world is a little weirder than we give it credit for. She recounted the story of Patrick Hines, who one recent night woke up at around 3:30 a.m. and went to the kitchen for a glass of water. Sitting at the table was a man in his late 50s wearing a worn World War II-style uniform. Hines noticed the cap on his head, and the apparition didn't stay long. But then there are other stories, Tim. That's all that's in this article. That's all. It doesn't tell us the other stories. It's much like our listeners who write in and tease us.
And that's a story for another day?
That is a story for another day. But you know what isn't, Tim? When people call in and share their stories.
Oh, true, yeah.
We have another story to share. How can you share? Easy, 651-300-4977. If you just want to call in and tell Tim how you love him, miss him, wish you could feel his warm, tender embrace. Maybe it's just me. Or perhaps how you enjoy pooping and listening to my voice while doing so. You can call us and talk to us at that number, 651-300-4977. And by talk to us, I mean hear my voice on the recording, but not have us respond to anything you say unless we play it on the air. But thank you very much for all the nice messages of love and support that we do get. But more importantly, thank you for the strong supernatural stories that you call in and share with us, like this caller.
Hello, my name is Sean. I'm 32. I live in Kentucky. My story, I'm not sure, is very paranormal. It's very strange. Me and my wife have a son. We had him in this house that we were living in. He was about 6 months when this story happens. We were laying in bed one night, and I was dreaming, and we had this TV stand in our room. The TV was kind of high up on the stand, but I was dreaming that our son, who was maybe 6 months at the time, couldn't even walk, was actually walking in front of that TV, and the TV was just slowly tipping over and was going to fall on him. So in my sleep, I lunged out of bed to try and, stop the TV from falling. So in doing that, I actually lunged myself out of bed while I was asleep, knocked over a bottle of water that was on my nightstand. My wife was like, "What in the world is going on?" I told her, I said, I had a dream that our son was walking in front of the TV and it was falling on him. And she's like, "Oh, well, that's weird." And I was like, so I'm drying up the water that I spilled. Maybe the whole time I was drying it took about 2 or 3 minutes. So I get back in bed, and all of a sudden the TV comes on. Now, this is a brand new TV we had gotten maybe a month earlier. Had never done this before and never did it since. So I whispered to her, I was like, "I think that TV just came on by itself." And she's like, "No, we must have hit the remote. We slept with the remote in the bed sometimes. So we can't find it." I literally get up out of bed and turn the TV off, and we wake up the next morning. I'm still thinking about that incident, and the remote was actually sitting on the dresser, which was about 5 feet away. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's paranormal. It seems kind of weird that I'll be dreaming about a TV falling and the TV turns on by itself. Not sure. Let me know what you guys think. I honestly don't know. Thank you for taking the time. Goodbye.
Excellent. Thank you again for sharing your stories with us. We always love hearing from you and hearing your voices. Tim, some of our listeners have taken to recording their stories in a full, unabridged edit that then they send to us. And we're going to play some of those stories next week on the program. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Pretty cool?
Yep.
All right, Tim, as we wrap up today's program, we're going to do a nightmare of mine and then 2 stories for you, Tim, because I love you and I like to share.
Okay.
This story is probably the story that has appeared most this week on my pages. Most emails sent in to me. The headline reads, "Footage captures bizarre moment. A corpse appears to wave." from within inside the coffin. Have you seen this footage, Tim?
I have not, no.
All right. Let me send this over to you whilst we talk, Tim.
All right.
So that you can see this and weigh in. Now, the lovely Winifred, my wife, looked at it, and she had an idea, and I'll let you hear her idea once I read the story, and then we can discuss it. But I just sent you the link so you could take a peek at it. Footage captures bizarre moment. A corpse appears to wave with inside a coffin. Footage filmed during a funeral caught the bizarre moment. The corpse appears to wave from inside. The clip, which was filmed in Manado, Indonesia, shows people gathered around the grave while a priest reads prayers aloud. The priest can be heard saying in the video, "God has said in the book of John, I am the resurrection and the life. Whosoever believes in me, he will live even though he is dead." Which is eerie considering what happens next. While whoever is, for some reason, filming the funeral zooms in to the glass panel on top of the coffin, you see movement happen within. The incident was filmed on the 5th of May and has been suggested by some that the body was attempting to wave to get the attention of the onlookers. However, the most likely explanation is that the corpse was moving due to changes that happen in the body after death. I don't think so. A study from 2019 found that human bodies can move after death. Researchers from Central Queensland University in Australia, who were studying the process of decomposition, found that without external assistance, human remains can change their position. Researcher Alison Wilson told ABC, "What we found was that the arms were significantly moving, so that arms that started off down beside the body ended up out to the side of the body. We think that the movements relate to the process of decomposition as the body mummifies and the ligaments dry out. The knowledge could be significant in unexplained death investigations." Dr. Xanthi Mallet, a lecturer at the University of Newcastle who supervised the study, added that the finding is significant as a murder victim's body would not essentially or necessarily be in the same position it died in. He said, "What isn't known is that the body moves as part of the decomposition process, and it's the first time that it's been captured as far as I know. It was found that corpses continue to move for more than a year after death." After a time-lapse camera took overhead images of a corpse for 17 months, it noted that the body continued to move during the entire decomposition. Now, have you seen the footage, Tim?
Yeah.
That doesn't look like just an arm moving. It looks like something waving.
That mofo's alive.
Isn't that creepy?
Open it up.
Open it, right? Because all of a sudden you just see the hand, and it's kind of like it swings up by the glass and waves. Now, Winifred said, well, maybe it's somebody above, and their hand is moving, and it's being reflected in that glass, which was a great point until they back up and you see how far away from the hole all the people are.
Yeah, yeah.
But then when you look at it, you could tell from the shading and the shadowing that the hand is inside, because where the thumb appears to be is lit up and everything behind it is darker.
Right.
I don't know, man. I call shenanigans. I'm looking at the footage again right now.
You would think that movement from decomposition would be slower than that.
Right.
Much slower. Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Gals. Hey, everybody. I'm going to include this link in today's program as well. So for those of you listening to today's show, you can click on the two news links and you'll see the freaky moment the chair explodes and the footage of the waving corpse. What's weird is people are looking down at it.
Yeah.
How are they not freaking the flip out?
I have no idea.
What's really weird is that they're all wearing masks, but they all have them down around their chin. Is that how COVID is spread, if you don't have your chin covered? I'm not sure how that works. I go out to the store to get groceries for my family, Tim, wearing my mask over my nose and mouth.
Which you should, yeah.
Tied securely around the back of my head.
Yep, you got
wearing
it.
Rubber gloves.
You're doing it right.
And I walk in and I shop and people have it down under their nose.
Nope.
Or up over their nose and above their lip.
Major fail.
Or down to their chin and only on their chin. And I've thought, how do you people think COVID is spread?
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it because I'm tired of talking COVID. Let's talk about our next story, which is more of a nightmare for Tim. Since we're done with COVID, Tim, let's do this story.
Okay.
Patients undergoing treatment for COVID. Oh, shit. at the government hospitals are soon going to get medicine and food served by robots designed and developed by the Shenmunga Arts, Science, Technology, and Research Academy. Thank God something that we can love and trust will deliver the food right to us, Tim.
No, Dave. No, you don't understand.
It's all good, Tim.
No.
It's from the Shenmunga Arts, Science, Technology, and Research Academy, a deemed to be university, and Propeller Technologies, one of the incubators of the technology business incubator established by SASTRA.
Yeah.
The robot having 3 racks, and who doesn't like 3 racks, Tim? Am I right?
You can Shenmunga that stuff right on out of here is what you can do.
The robot having 3 racks to carry and serve food, medicine, and water to the patients can be operated from a distance of 100 meters. It has an LED screen that enables the doctors and paramedical staff to interact with the patients from a safe distance. The 46-inch tall robots weighing about 15 kilograms with a payload of 10 kilograms can be moved 360 degrees and is easy to sanitize after every use, according to Sastra press release. The robot ideated and designed to minimize the contact between patients and healthcare staff can be operated through visual communication systems and controlled through radio frequencies and Bluetooth technology. One such robot was pressed into service at the Thanjavur Medical College Hospital last week, and Sastra plans to donate 20 more of these robots for use in COVID-19 isolation wards in government hospitals across the state. Similar machines to mop the floor and carry out disinfection process as well. Robot mops and UV disinfectant robots, Tim, they're on the way too. They're all being prototyped and tested successfully, will be donated to the government hospitals. And soon, Tim, you may be able to purchase them and have them running your home.
No.
Yeah, Tim.
No.
That's great news, Tim.
No.
Robots doing all of our work for us.
No.
Uh-huh.
That's how Skynet starts.
Oh, Tim, you're so crazy.
Oh,
listen,
Dave.
Tim, the people in the know.
You're so naive.
Because, listen, here's a headline I thought you'd love. Tech Tykes. Parenting robots will feed, teach, and exercise 1 in 3 kids by 2050.
And then kill them.
What?
And kill them.
Tim, they're friendly. They're totes adorbs. Look, I'm going to send you a picture. You look at these. I
don't need to look at the little bastards.
No, you look at this and tell me this is an evil robot, Tim.
Okay.
It's filled with wonder, love, and curiosity and wants to take care of children.
Oh, my God. It's the face of evil.
It isn't, Tim. It's lovely. Big, beautiful green emerald eyes. A smile that imparts your heart with nothing but warmth.
How can you read that as a smile? I look at it as some sort of half smirk.
No, Tim. Dr. Michelle Tempest says these droids will feed, exercise, and teach kids, and that 1 in 3 children in the future will be raised by one.
Dave, this picture you sent me is satanic. They've got blinders over the eyes of children so they can't see anything. They're feeding them poison so they can't taste anything, and then they send them to sleep.
Delicious fruit.
Into the sleep of sweet death that they can't recover from. That is not cute. Or funny.
Let me put this out to you, Tim. These robots are also going to change dirty diapers.
Oh, I bet they are.
And then tell stories.
And then they're going to try and take their temperature anally, and it'll be some sort of weird cyanide pill, and they're going to kill them anally.
Tim, here's the best news. The best news.
Mm-hmm.
Our women no longer have to feel fat and bloated and unattractive when pregnant because artificial uteruses are going to start developing fetuses, Tim.
Oh, dear God, Dave. They're going to rip out our women's uteruses, too.
No.
Is that it? Is that it?
Uteruses, Tim. They'll be able to carry the babies for our women so our women can go about daily activity and not have to worry about labor pains, back pains, breast enlargement.
So we can give birth to cyborgs, Dave. Oh, yeah, this is going to be all cute. All great.
Dr. Tempest says that by 2050, parenting will be entirely optional. I wish I had that 30 years ago, Tim. She reckons moms and dads will only see their kids during holidays. Sign me up. Smart baby monitors already check on a baby's breathing and send alerts when a wet nappy is noticed. Dr. Tempest, a former NHS doctor, now advises on the use of AI. She said parents will become as obsolete as floppy disks are today.
Oh, so it'll be obsolete, Dave. You want that?
Yeah.
So then
it frees me up to sleep better at night.
Yeah.
It frees me up to get to see the world while knowing that my children are being raised by something probably much more rational and responsible than me.
So, Dave, let me set the scenario. Let me set the table for you. Let me walk you through this for a second. So, Daddy's taking his fourth nap of the day. He's laying there, all nice and refreshed.
Sign me up.
In third eldest son walks in, armed and dangerous with his robot nanny, and says, "I must complete my mission. Parent is obsolete. Parent is obsolete." Puts a gun to the back of your head and boom, shoots you dead right there because you're obsolete, Dave. You're no longer part of the chain. You're now obsolete because the robot has told your son to get rid of you. That's how robots work, Dave.
You've been inside way too long by yourself, Tim.
Get rid of the inefficiency, Dave. That's how robots work, Dave.
Please, folks, just send love to Tim. Love and prayers. He is obviously wounded and broken inside. So sad.
Oh, but you want to embrace him. Go ahead, embrace him. Go ahead, embrace him.
I do. I want to cuddle and embrace those robots.
I'm going to mow them sumbitches down and make them planters in my garden.
When I was at your house, Tim, and I was using your computer, I saw the sexual robots you were looking up. Tim.
I wasn't looking up sexual robots.
Tim.
I was not.
Tim.
I was not.
You know, there is an article out there that says Sammy Hagar believes that Van Halen will never be finished, Tim. I think what he's referring to is that AI versions of Van Halen will continue to tour long into the future. What do you think?
I don't want an AI version.
Wouldn't it be great if we could download into a robot Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth's like 1980s, 90s abilities to sing and entertain?
It's called an MP3 player, Dave.
No. I'm live on stage, and you could watch the robot jump. Might as well jump, Tim. And, they could go up on stage and they could sing with singers who are not going to get high or drunk, who are going to always sound great and seem like they were in the 80s, Tim. Sign me up.
Dave, we already had the Tupac hologram.
AI Halen.
We had the Tupac hologram. It was weird. We already all agreed it was weird.
Was it really a hologram, though, Tim?
It was.
I think it was Tupac painted with little day glow colors on a dark stage.
It was weird. It was just weird.
Tim, the guy's released 72 albums after he died. How is that even possible?
The man was prolific, Dave. He just went in the studio and he knocked it out every day.
Why didn't he release? He released like 1.5 albums before he died.
No. He had
72 albums after he died.
He had a lot of albums before he died, my friend. A lot. I have all of them.
Tim, it's 1.5 albums.
No, it wasn't.
He just kept doing remixes of all the same songs.
No, he did. Okay, how many Tupac albums do you have at home?
Only 1.5 to because that's all.
No, see, exactly.
Because I was always waiting for him to sell a 2-pack of Tupac albums.
If I had, that would
have been a great marketing tool.
If I had
2-pack Tupac.
If I had to produce a Tupac documentary, I'm not going to Dave Schrader as my expert.
You should. I know a lot about him. Tim.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. Named after his mom's interest in cigarettes and how many she smoked a day. 2 pack a day.
Oh my God.
It's a fact. Pretty sure.
No, it's not. No.
It's kind of a fact.
No.
Isn't it a fact? It's a fact that it's interesting.
No.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Man.
Huh.
Yeah. So anyways, we're talking about how useless robots are, really. Have you ever, by the way, if you ever want to back my point of view here, get yourself a Roomba and see how useless they really are. And
I have a Roomba, Tim.
Oh, they're useless. They're the biggest piece of garbage.
Cannot Tango or Roomba. I've been very disappointed. I've stood on it, turned on a good Roomba song, and it doesn't teach me how to Roomba at all.
The thing will sit and vacuum 1 square inch of your living room for 3 hours. It won't do the job. It's the biggest piece of garbage ever. That's why I'm confident that AI will probably never take over the planet. Garbage.
Whatever.
Garbage.
Must be weird to live in that dark little world of yours.
That's why I'm going to mow them all over with a flamethrower because they'll never see it coming. They're too confident. They're too cocky. They think they can take us, Dave. They can't make anything that can vacuum the entire house. I'm just saying.
Well, that's it for this week, folks. We're done with supernatural news. I have nothing more to share with you about it. I'm done. I've given up the ghost on this. But, hey, we do still want to hear your stories, so give us a call this week, 651-300-4977. Share your stories with us. It would be great to hear from you and hear your stories. That's it for Supernatural News. Tomorrow, the anatomy of a haunting. Barbara Holland, our guest, right here on the best in paranormal talk radio. I'm Dave. That's Tim. This is Darkness Radio.